You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Yo, check it out. Prince John and the sheriff, they was running the show, raising the taxes because they needed the dough. A reign of terror took over the land. They were shaking down the people just to beat the band. I said, hey. I said, hey. I said, hey. The people weren't happy, morale was low. They had no place to turn to, there was nowhere to go. They needed a hero, but no one could be found, cause Robin Hood was out of town. I said, hey. I said, hey. I said, hey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. We're really excited to be here today. If you're listening to us on the go, you can listen to us at Podbean, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course, our website, themisfitfaction.com. As always, I am Sean. I'm here with my best friend and partner, Paul. Paul, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? It's really romantic when you call me your best friend and partner.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we don't want to make anybody jealous, though.
Well, somebody's here that might be jealous, but...
No, the cat's upstairs.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you do have someone to introduce. I know you've been very excited about this, and I wanted to let you take the festivities away from me to introduce our special guest.
Is it a festivity?
Yeah,
Is it a Festivus for the rest of us type thing?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'm not going to make a big deal about it or anything. So, Now making her triumphant return to Cinematic Adventures and the world of podcasting. From Bibliophiles Assembled, we have my wife, Melanie. But I didn't really want to make a big deal about it. So, that's that. So, yes, from Bibliophiles Assemble and currently deaf is my wife. From, again, Bibliophiles Assemble. Everybody lost it at that one. Sean actually drowned on his beer. Is my wife, Melanie. Melanie, how are you today?
I'm really great and feeling really awkward right now. Thank you for that wonderful, boisterous, and totally inappropriate introduction.
You're welcome.
Oh, God.
Just when she thought I couldn't get worse.
Thank you for that, because that just, that's got us in the right mood for the episode we're going to be
Just wait till I add music to it in post-production.
Oh, there you go.
I'm really not sure that's a good idea.
This could be the Rocky theme. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
I think it'll work.
Or Eye of the Tiger. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, you gotta go Eye of the Tiger.
I do have to go Eye of the Tiger. It's all about...
I'm sorry, Rocky theme, I gotta go Eye of the Tiger.
Okay, but guys, I'm not here to talk about Rocky.
But we are here to talk about an 80s movie.
You weren't part of the...
movie?
You didn't listen to our pre-show meeting. We talked about this. We were going to talk about Rocky today.
Maybe I should step out on this one then.
Ironically enough, we did watch
movie, but...
The Italian Stallion at one point.
Really?
Yeah, I told Melanie about the Italian Stallion, and we had to watch it on her phone in our living room. Yeah.
We skipped around, but we don't really need to talk about that either.
So, alrighty,
yeah.
So before this episode goes off the rails anymore, which I don't think is possible, we are really excited because this is the beginning of Mel Brooks month for Cinematic Adventures. We've been looking forward to this for the last... month and a half.
Oh, Mel Brooks, Melanie. Mel month, you said. I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh, wow.
That's why I'm here.
I love you.
I love you so much.
So struggle is not the right word. We were thinking, what movie were we going to start this off with? And I know most of you are probably going like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. We're like, nah. We're going to talk about Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Of course you haven't. You haven't heard of any of the movies we've talked about.
Dang it, we watched History of the World Part 1.
We definitely did last week.
Wrong research project.
Mel Brooks is Mel Brooks.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we love him.
We do love him.
So we're going to get into what I thought would be a good idea. Is how did we all get introduced to this movie? So, Paul, do you remember...
I don't remember my first time seeing it, but I can honestly say that first time I ever interacted with this movie was when it was on VHS.
What's that?
What's that?
It's a tape.
Ah.
What's a tape?
I don't know. I was watching Law and Order SVU and they just had one, but it was like a season 3 episode, so that was like 47 years ago. But
At least.
You're not that far off.
I know it's a little scary, but anyway, I do remember seeing this movie before I saw the Kevin Costner version that it spoofs, and it's funny when you watch the spoof or the parody before you watch the actual movie it's parodying, because then you think that movie's actually the parody of the movie you already saw.
That was me with Scary Movie and Scream. I saw Scary Movie before I saw Scream.
I know, yeah. And you and we saw Scary Movie 2 in theaters.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, that was your graduation present.
Back when you could actually get into an R-rated movie.
With your parents?
My parents just bought the tickets and we were allowed to go into the theater.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then we went to Applebee's. What a time. What a time to be alive. Way better than going to see Godzilla and Kong with those stupid teenagers behind us. Still a little salty
it's okay.
about that.
It's all right.
I know it's all right.
It's all right.
Talk about it. Just
so, Melanie, what was the first time you remember seeing Robin Hood?
I watched Robin Hood for the first time with my mom. She is a huge Mel Brooks fan. I've seen most of his movies with her, and we can just quote it just at the drop of a hat. I don't have an actual time frame when I saw it, but it was probably around like 7, 8 years old when I saw it for the first time. I didn't understand really any of the jokes that are in it. And then the more I watch it, the older I get. I'm like, oh, that's what he was saying. Oh, that's so inappropriate. Oh, I probably shouldn't have laughed at that as a kid. But it was a good time that I had with my mom, and it's something we still bond over today. Like I said, we can just quote it. So what about you, Sean?
So, I remember vaguely seeing this in theaters when I was little. Don't have much recollection of actually remembering it in theaters. I just remember I was taken to see it along with my cousins.
You were probably drunk.
Probably.
All that Jaeger.
I started early.
Yeah, in 1993.
Yeah.
It was cough medicine back then.
It was Dimetap.
So,
we should play a drinking game for this episode where every time we quote the movie, somebody who's listening has to take a drink.
Well, Ronnie's not here, so...
We have in our audience today. We have Brittany from what was the name of Brittany's Instagram page for travel?
It's Mundo Brillante.
So it's something in Spanish.
It's Mundo, Mundo, period, BRI, period, LLANTE.
Or if you go to the Misfit Faction or Bibliophiles Assemble Instagram pages, we're both following her. Find it. Worth it.
Find it and follow her.
Treasure it.
She is a treasure.
She is a treasure. She's been laughing at us in the background this whole time.
Well, of course she has.
We are pretty funny.
There was that one time. Yeah. But anyway, Sean.
Yes.
Please get us back on track. I'm losing it.
You're losing it.
It's been 5 minutes.
All right. So... For me, as I said, I vaguely remember seeing this movie in theaters, but my parents introduced me to Mel Brooks probably not too long after seeing this movie with Young Frankenstein and High Anxiety, and then as I got a little older, Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1, and then obviously Spaceballs and this movie as well. I was really, I think we were lucky as kids growing up during the 90s, but for me as a movie fan, a lot of movies were being released to video for like the first time in a while, so like I got to see a lot of these movies firsthand, when they were coming out for the first time. So like 20th Century Fox, which pretty much made most of Mel Brooks movies, all of the movies got re-released to video like when I was a kid, so we got all of them, so I had them all and loved them all. So.
And now you have them all on DVD.
I do. Blu-ray. Love it.
Fancy. Fancy.
So, what do you want to get into next?
I don't know. I mean, this movie has not only some of the most quotable moments. Oh, yeah. Like this, we could literally just sit here and quote the movie. We should have just done a reenactment. Well, that would have been hilarious.
We could have.
That, or I think, again, commentaries are something we definitely want to tackle in the near future, and obviously these movies will be very interesting. So, as we said before, this movie is pretty much a spoof of the Kevin Costner 1991 Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie. That it also spoofs the Errol Flynn 1938 classic from Warner Brothers, mainly with the look of Robin Hood is clearly a look on the Errol Flynn look.
Now, where did he always have an accent? Because unlike some other Robin Hoods, He did speak with an English accent.
I never knew what that line meant, obviously, until I saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh man, it's rough.
It's so great.
I remember as a kid seeing bits and pieces of Prince of Thieves, like it was on TV.
I love Prince of Thieves, though. Like, that's the thing. I actually really like that movie.
Really?
I do. I don't know. You know.
Is it Kevin Costner? Is that why?
I am actually a big Kevin Costner fan. I think he makes good movies.
We should do an episode on Waterworld at some point.
Oh my god, Waterworld or The Postman, two like the worst movies ever made. But I'll give the man credit, man. He puts his money where his mouth is.
He also dances with wolves.
He
so
does
there's
dance
that.
with wolves.
And then he dies in tornadoes.
One of my favorite movies though he ever did was JFK. I love that movie.
You do love that movie.
I do love that movie.
You wanted to do that movie at some
Yeah,
point.
you just looked at me going like, I haven't watched that movie in 10 years. We can't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right.
We'll do like a conspiracy movie month. We'll do like that. Enemy of the State.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
Eagle
good one.
Eye with Shia LaBeouf. Oh, all right, I lost it.
We lost it
But
there.
what's this month called?
Mel Brooks month.
Oh, okay,
Mel.
not Kevin Costner month.
Melody's getting us like, really, guys? Like, it's like, Melody, this is what we do. We go off topic very easily. We went for about 10 minutes on Power Rangers the other day in the Godzilla Kong episode.
Because in our justification, sorry about that, in our justification, we did say that not only did every episode of Power Rangers end with a giant monster fight, but Power Rangers has more bodies than Godzilla.
You're not wrong.
Every
Mechagodzilla is Dragon Zord. I mean,
yeah, there's that too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but also in every episode of Power Rangers, they don't evacuate that city, and they blow
That's
up
true.
buildings. Yeah, like
Oh.
people died
the
in
same
that show.
buildings. The same buildings get destroyed in every episode. It's crazy.
And the Megazord's hands.
I'm sure the
change.
construction workers are going like, really, guys?
Maybe they're under contract. Maybe they like it.
Maybe.
It's constant work. But
How many
anyway,
non-union contractors you probably killed?
that's a Star Wars. That's a Clerks joke about Star Wars, which that's next month, by the way. So bringing it back to this month.
Men in Tights.
Melody's already annoyed with this.
I don't know. She wanted to do this.
I didn't know what I was signing on for.
You
And
did.
I have a whole month of this. This is great.
I know. This is the warm up. You get to host next week.
Excuse me?
What?
What?
What? You and Rob are going to make your hosting debuts.
Excuse me?
Oh, Rob's hosting. That's gonna be fun.
No, he's still refusing. He's still unofficial third host.
Okay. All right. So,
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
no.
Hey,
Blinken.
Blinken.
Hold the reins, man.
Then they hit that poor horse in the face.
I know, that poor thing.
Oh.
I'm sure it was okay, though.
Do you want to go through the cast?
Yes. Let's do the cast. So, you want to do that, or you want me to do that?
Well, I will
Or
start.
Melanie.
Oh yeah, does Melanie want? No, Melanie is already giving me the "Don't you dare, don't you dare." Yes.
Well, I just before we do the cast, I just want to say what I like about this movie. Not that I don't like it about other Mel Brooks movies, but Mel Brooks would use the same actors in a lot of his movies.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true,
yeah.
So like you would see him in all different movies. This movie, except for like the cameos by Dom DeLuise and the guy who plays the Abbot, Dick Van Patten.
Hey,
I don't
Abbott.
think no one else in this
hate
movie
that
had
guy.
been in a Mel Brooks movie previously. So that's what I liked about it. It was like a fresh cast, like Spaceballs. You know, Spaceballs had John Candy, Rick Moranis. You know, they'd never been in a Mel Brooks movie either. So that's what I like about this one.
Well, this was one of the earlier showings of Dave Chappelle. This was
Oh yeah.
One of
This
the one
I
of
think
his
this was
earliest
his
movies.
film debut. Might have been.
I think so.
I'm not
Could be
sure if he
wrong.
was I'm assuming he was a stand-up probably prior to that. 'Cause I
I'm
don't
just waiting
think
for
he
somebody
was
to say his name.
Dave Chappelle.
No, his character name.
Achoo.
Achoo.
Bless you.
Bless you.
What about a sneeze?
I am a sneeze. Oh man, we're gonna quote this whole movie. Like the whole movie's gonna be quoted.
So we've got Mr. Carrie Ells as Robin Hood, the
Elway.
star Elway.
Elways.
It is always
I don't know.
That's why I
Okay.
didn't want to introduce.
Yeah, just for Carrie.
Carrie Ells as
The
Robin
guy.
Hood. I'm guessing.
The guy from Saw.
Yes,
Or the Princess Bride.
Wesley.
Wesley.
Thank you.
He's also the corrupt mayor from Stranger Things 3.
Oh
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah. Now, who would win in a fight? Carrie Elways is Robin Hood or his Wesley? I think his Wesley.
I think it's Wesley.
I think his
Wesley.
Robin Hood has better range.
Mm.
So like he could snipe him, but once it came up close and personal,
No, I think
Well, I don't
Wesley
think they
would,
called. I don't think they called it sniping if it was a bow and arrow.
there is a hitman in this movie with a sniper bow and arrow or crossbow.
Crossbow.
Okay, so you know what? You told me you weren't going to do this on the podcast. You just got to Sean, take it away.
So anyway, who's Prince John?
Richard Lewis. great stand-up comedian.
He has a mole.
He does have a mole.
He has a mole?
There's going to be I'm going to have to edit out so many pauses because we're too busy laughing.
Your reaction to that was great, though. You were like, oh, she really did that to me.
Yep. Yeah. That's where we are.
Blow.
Not you guys. But anyway, that's how we're going to redirect back to the episode. It's just by doing a random quote. The goal is to not run out of quotes.
Well, that's going to be
Impossible.
tough.
I don't know the amount of times.
We got to quote each actor. We got to quote one of their lines from the movie, or are we just going to quote any line from the
just
movie?
in general. Just
Oh,
when we're
that's
getting
good.
way too off topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So we might run out of lines.
So we got Roger Reese as the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Now, his counterpoint was Alan Rickman.
He's clearly, he's spoofing Alan Rickman.
I can't help but love him so much, though, as the Sheriff of Rottingham. Like, over. And as much as I love Alan Rickman, I will watch him do the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Alan Rickman was just so over the top in Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. It was great.
Oh, yeah. Hammed it up.
You know, but
Loved
this
him.
Roger Reese he played that and the dyslexia. I mean, just like
Oh, my God. King, forest, pig, illegal.
I-
It as is.
he dared to kill a king's dare.
Oh,
But
my
he
God.
says it like you're just like
I would
love
love
it.
to see the blooper reel for this movie.
That's the one thing about Mel Brooks movies.
They never have
He
'em.
never has a blooper reel. Like I would he's had deleted scenes, but like I've never seen a blooper reel for any of his movies.
I want to see a blooper reel of when they were doing the shadow puppet fight, and they were. I can only imagine them.
I'm sure
trying
that
to
wasn't them though. Like that was probably just like two random people off.
some random stunt doubles.
You would, you know.
All right,
I
we need
don't
the
know.
hand guys to come in.
I
Oh
would
no,
pay,
not
I would
them.
pay to see that though. Like
Oh,
I
God.
would gladly pay money just to watch those blooper reels.
Oh my God, they would be hilarious. Especially I like in Mel Brooks movies. One of my favorite things is when they break the fourth wall.
Oh,
And they mirrored this in Spaceballs too, when one of the cast members gets
with the
interacted,
lightsaber.
or one of the crew members.
Yeah.
In Spaceballs, he gets hit with the ring, sword, laser, thing.
lightsaber.
It's not- you
spoons.
can't say lightsaber. We're gonna
The
get
Schwartz saber.
The Schwartz saber. That
There
sounds
it is.
dirty. But
Your Schwartz is as big as mine.
didn't get that joke as a child, and
Even with it, like, you know.
I saw Spaceballs when I was 6.
Did you see Star Wars before Spaceballs or Spaceballs before Star Wars?
I want to say
That's
I
the
saw,
ultimate
I saw
question.
Star Wars before Spaceballs,
Okay.
but I
honestly
definitely
don't
saw.
remember. I think I saw Star Wars before I saw Spaceballs, but
Melanie has seen everything else before Star Wars.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. As far as Mel
and
Brooks
she doesn't regret that
goes.
decision at all.
No.
I don't. I enjoyed it. I really
know,
did
I'm just-
enjoy it.
it just-
However, it
Well,
we took,
we're
you,
not gonna
we
go
took
there.
you to see probably the not
Well,
the best.
I saw the last
choice.
one.
I know. Which
yeah, I
is-
tried to give her the entire
Yeah.
rundown of the car ride. We needed a 7-hour car ride.
we did not
Oh,
because I knew
my
the
God.
premise
You
just
knew the
based
premise, yeah,
on
yeah.
on everything. But there were certain like key characters that came on later on that I didn't really know where they came from. So you kind of filling me in with all of that was important. But for the most part, I knew what was going on.
There's Luke and Leia.
So
They're not brother and sister in the first movie, but then we find out
But
they
you
are
find out
brother
they
and
are,
sister
yeah.
after they kiss, which is
Twice.
which is awkward.
Yeah, twice.
weird. Han Solo, steals her from.
They were
from
siblings. Siblings, you sick
Yeah.
bastard. But the thing I like about Mel Brooks movies, though, is you can watch them on their own and they still hold up completely.
Oh, I
They
agree.
do supplement the movie that they're seeing, like the movie that they're parodying. But because the writing is so good and the directing and the casting, like as much as we like the scary movies, you kind of needed to see the other movies they were spoofing to really get the most out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think watching Men in Tights or even Spaceballs, you can enjoy it on its own, and then when you watch like the source, it's even funnier.
Oh, I agree, and it's funny when you watch Spaceballs. I mean, except for like, a couple of things, it's really not spoofing Star Wars.
No.
It's spoofing everything else.
Yeah.
Robin Hood is spoofing Robin Hood. That's a given. Dracula Dead Loving, it's spoofing Dracula. High Anxiety, I think, is probably his most well-written movie after Young Frankenstein, because the jokes in that movie are a little more subtle, because you have to really be a fan of Hitchcock to like get the references in some of the jokes in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I mean, it's just all over the place, and I love it. It's just,
There are two kinds.
he doesn't hold back.
There are two kinds of parody movies. There's the ones that make fun of more like nuanced things like merchandising and like things that don't have a time frame to them.
Yeah.
But then you get like Scary Movie where they make fun of like the Nike, what's the basketball commercial?
Oh yeah, the Nike commercial.
Nobody would get that now.
No.
But Spaceballs and this movie, like they make fun of more societal things, like things that are still relevant now.
I mean, like, you know, the scene where they get to Yogurt's, you know, lair in Spaceballs, it's spoofing the Wizard of Oz. I mean, you know, anyone who's seen the Wizard of Oz knows that's what that's a spoof of.
Yeah, when you spoof something that's like just relevant at the time, like the Scary Movie movies got worse over time
Because there's just
to
nothing,
the point.
Yeah,
and like look at we had the big craze of parody movies. So we had like dance movie, an epic movie, and superhero movie, like all those movies, and they're not culturally relevant because they were quick cash grabs. Excuse me, I'm not even drinking. And they were based on the situations of the time, and that's what they made fun of.
Yeah.
I think this movie still holds its own. Like, it's still very relevant, and it's still very funny, well written, and like I said, the cast is what really delivers this movie. There are a couple of things that don't stand the test of time, like the I Gotta Pump. Like, nobody knows pumping up your shoes, and I gotta go home alone now. I didn't get that as a kid. Somebody had to explain that to me.
That was a little more
funny.
subtle. Except when he does the famous, you know,
The famous
face
screaming.
slap. But, you know, I thought it was forced when he goes, I have to go home alone now. And it was like, okay, we got the joke, but it still holds. But we gotta get back to the cat. We went way off.
Yeah,
there.
the cast. Now
Maybe we
we've
should
only
talk about the
covered.
movie.
Still talking
We've
about
only
it.
covered two cast members.
We have Miss Amy Yasbeck
Love
as
her.
Maid Marian. Now,
Love her.
she is great
She has
in this movie, and she's in the follow Dracula Done Loving It.
There's one scene that will always make me laugh with her in this, no matter what. It's when he starts singing and her reaction, just the way she delivers it, and just oh my god, like I lost it, and I still lose it
still
every
lose it.
time. Every time we see it. Also, when her crown falls off and she's like trying to put it back on, like that's another example of the bloopers must be.
Oh, the bloopers must
So
be
good.
so good in this movie. Really do. And as we said before, we have Mr. Dave Chappelle, I think in his feature film debut, as basically the Morgan Freeman spoof of the Morgan Freeman character from Robin and Prince of Thieves, as Achoo.
Son of a
Bless you.
sneeze.
Son of a
Ah,
sneeze.
dang it, she beat me. She won. That was
And
funnier.
then we have my favorite character in the whole movie, Mark Blankfield as Blinken. When you see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and obviously his servant in that movie, who is tortured by the sheriff, and his eyes are taken from him. I mean, that's just comedy gold. I mean, anytime you have something like that, anytime you have a blind person, I hate to say it, in comedy, it makes it, they got to turn it into comedy.
My favorite, and this is again something I didn't get as a kid, is when the castle gets taken away
And
and
the
Blinken's
Playboy.
in the bathroom with the Braille Playboy, and he's just feeling it up, and his pants are down. He's sitting on the latrine. Oh, Master! Oh, someone's in here. And then, but you grew some nice boobs, like that whole
It's a
scene.
bit drafty.
It's a bit drafty in here, but actually the one line that I think Melanie and I quote the most around our house is anytime we like hit something or bump into something, I can see. Then we bump into something else.
I was wrong.
Yep.
That one's up there.
Guessing.
That one and at the end where he catches the arrow.
Oh,
and
the
goes,
arrow, yeah.
How'd you do that? I heard that coming a mile away. And then he goes, "Good job, Lincoln." What? Who's talking?
Where am I? Oh, and
Blinken, fix your boobs. You look like a bleeding Picasso.
yep, we're just gonna quote the whole movie.
All right, we got Eric Allen Kramer as Little John. I'm gonna just keep going. Matthew Peretta as Will Scarlett O'Hara. Isaac Hayes, the chef himself, as a sneeze, basically in a cameo role in the beginning of the movie. Tracy Ullman, who was just fantastic. She
Brilliant.
plays Latrine.
I always wanted to marry a cop.
And then basically after that, we have all of our kind of cameos. Patrick Stewart plays King Richard. Dom DeLuise as Don Giovanni. Mel Brooks as Rabbi Tuckman. That's just pure,
I
that's
love
pure
when he
Mel Brooks.
lifts the hat and the hair comes with it. Hello,
curl.
boys.
The curls.
The curl. That's great.
I like.
Snip the tip.
Yeah. I love when he is in his own movies because he's usually the
all of them.
funniest.
He's great.
He's usually the funniest. Like sometimes it doesn't work where directors are in their own movies, but yeah.
He
I'm really curious. Sorry, Sean.
go ahead.
But I'm really curious to see how much of his lines were ad-libbed and how much was scripted. Like, I can just see him just kind of running with it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just knowing that it's going to be comedy gold.
I can imagine. Yeah. He, early on, I mean, in his first, excuse me, his first 3 movies, he was only in Blazing Saddles, and it was basically like a small cameo role. I think High Anxiety was the first movie where he was the star of the movie. And then from that point on, he was like, oh, I can star in all my movies. Okay, easy. And I think this was the first one in a while where he wasn't the main star of the movie.
Oh, it's good to be the king.
It is good to be the king.
What about History of the World Part 1? Would you consider him like a...
Yep.
He's basically a main character.
He's the star of that one. That High Anxiety, he's the star of... Spaceballs, he's the star of President Scrooge and Yogurt.
I would say that who is it? Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
He is the star of that movie.
Okay,
and
you can believe that.
He's just so handsome.
All right, that's about it on the cast. I mean, again, as I said, there's a couple more cameo people, but we went over most of those. So
Mel Brooks cameo where he's just literally looking down the girls' shirts. Yeah,
that was him.
I thought that was. Yeah.
I don't think that was him. I used to think it was, but I don't think that was
him.
In
the battle scene?
Yeah, when they're fighting in the
Grand Hall.
In the Grand Hall, and there's the maids are in like that room, and then the random guy just pops up behind them,
and they're all boisterous.
And he's staring out. All of a sudden, his eyes just start going down.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It's actually, and again, as a kid, we're just
oh
like,
my God.
What's
he looking at? Oh,
okay.
Is he making sure they're okay?
No.
What a nice guy.
Great.
Yeah, so let's address that while we're here. Mel Brooks movies, there are certain aspects that have not stood the test of time.
No.
But for the most part, they still like work. Obviously there's a lot of jokes about a group of men living in the forest together wearing tights.
Just marry.
They're just married.
They're just married.
Yeah. Those kind of jokes don't fly no more. Otherwise, though, and then just looking down the women's dresses, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. But
it's weird how the sword innuendo is still totally cool.
The what?
Oh, the sword innuendo when he's singing and the sheath comes up.
Yeah, the night is young.
Yeah, and she's so beautiful.
Which I think that scene might have been edited when it was on TV because didn't remember that for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was more shocked. We were watching Criminal Intent or Organized Crime last night, and Stabler says, "God damn it!" I was like, "You could say that on NBC," and then I was like, "It's after 10." Yeah,
there you go.
So don't listen to this podcast right now until after 10.
10:01, please and thank you. But yeah, I mean, like this movie for the most part, and all of his movies for the most part, they hug the PG-13 line. They usually don't cross it too much, but
except for Blazing Saddles and History of the World Part 1.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles was just what's the word? Changed the game with what they got away with in that movie. I mean, again, everybody says Blazing Saddles could not be made today, but see, for me, History of the World Part 1 just went way over. I remember the first time I saw that movie, and I think my dad or my mom walked in watching that, and they were like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "History of the World Part 1." Like, no, turn that off.
Yeah, there's some things that don't.
And I was like, "Why?" I'm laughing. It's funny. Don't understand half the things I'm watching, but I was like,
yeah. But it's historically relevant. You know, they cover a lot of things that happened in
I learned about the 15
history.
Commandments from that movie.
Yeah, we needed a dustbin to clean them up.
But he dropped one, so that's why there's only 10 commandments, right?
Yep.
I really want a sequel. I would love a sequel.
You got the coming attraction.
But that's the whole
you
thing.
got the coming attraction at the end.
Yeah, but that's all you're gonna get. That's the whole thing.
Which is
part
a
1. You're
shame.
never
Such
gonna
a
get a part
shame.
2.
Yeah.
If anyone other than Mel Brooks tries to get into that, it would never be the same.
God,
no.
There's no way that you can replicate what he sees in his brain. You just can't.
No, he's got such a great worldview, and he puts things together. Like, it's just watching his stuff. It's just always so beautifully done and written and all that. But you know, the one scene that I just never liked as a kid when all the troops line up in the hall. And like,
I hope it's worth the noise.
Yeah, all that. Apparently, it took weeks for them to set
it took
that
weeks,
up.
and it's not. The funny thing is, it's not a spoof on anything. It's just it's just a funny scene because they all just get knocked down.
Yeah.
It's a great. It's
right rope.
It doesn't hold up the scene because you could tell it's like so like planned, but it's still.
And they also speed it up.
They speed it
You
up
can
to
see,
make it
like,
look a little more. It looks a little, fake, but it's still a funny moment for a little kid. Seeing that. That's, that's the thing you laugh at. When you're little.
Am I good? I'm good. I think the Grand Hall battle is actually one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. It's got some great moments.
It is pretty funny.
That's a literal spoof on the Errol Flynn.
Oh yeah.
So that
and,
one I like.
I always love when he cuts the rope and.
Right rope.
No, I like the first one when the chandelier drops him and he's like standing there all proud, and it just lands on him. He's like, "Oh God!" And then his friends come in, and Blinken beats up that beam, and Will Scarlet has his one moment where he throws the
daggers.
Am I good? I'm good.
Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet.
Yeah, Will and Little John are my favorite. Will was just waiting in the bushes.
Yeah, he was.
He was. Yeah.
And Little John cannot swim.
No, he cannot.
No, but a toll is a toll, and a roll is a roll. And if we don't get no tolls, then we don't
get no rolls.
I might that up. Yeah, and then it's funny watching American Wedding where he's a gay pimp.
I remember seeing that movie for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that's Little John."
So for those
Wasn't
of you
he
guys,
on a Disney show too? Wasn't he on like a?
I have a
think
feeling
so.
he might have.
With Charlie.
Okay.
He was the dad.
That's
I
right.
think.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who are at home listening, Melanie just hit the microphone because she was laughing so hard, and then laughed even harder because she was. Yeah. We're having a great time.
We're having
a merry old time,
and we've already done almost a half an hour of just
literally
just
have.
like
great.
Yeah,
of course we have.
But you know what scene we should really talk about?
Wait, no, before you move on.
Before I move on,
dear Paul. So you guys were talking about an improv earlier on.
Oh, this is what I was moving on to.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, it's the number one thing on the list.
It's the number one thing on the fun facts. So one of the scenes that was improv and ended up being like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the sheriff falls into
Latrine's quarters.
Latrine's quarters. That entire scene was just ad-libbed. Like it was just completely just off the fly.
I have a headache.
Yeah, and I was that close. I touched it. That's
I don't
probably one of
say
the funniest
how
scenes.
often that's said around our house and in what context, but I'd also like to put on the record that it's never me saying it.
It's always me.
Yeah.
It's always
but
me,
even
guys.
for like mundane things, like, did you get the laundry? I was that close. I touched it. And that's it. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Did you do the dishes? I was that close. I touched it.
Gross.
Every time. Yep.
Sean's trying to
Zero.
get his composure back.
I'm just thinking of that scene. I love that scene. anything with Latrine was fun. She is like she's a comedy genius. She really is.
Tracy Ullman is fantastic.
And that's why again I think this movie stands out is because it had some really good, Richard Lewis. Roger Reese is not a comedian, but he was a very good actor. So it just really holds up. Yes. But I'm surprised you guys didn't already do the famous Achoo line yet.
Bless you.
Which one? You'll have to be way more specific.
It's not exactly the Mississippi.
I'm on the East Bank. I'm on the West Bank. Yeah, it's not that critical.
It's not that critical.
Oh God, this movie is just so incredible, like just dangerously quotable.
But it's funny how a scene like a moment like that, I'm sure they're filming that going like, people aren't going to find this that funny. And yet that might be one of the funnier parts of the movie because it's just so subtle and it's just like stupid, but it works. They're fighting over not even a river. It's like Robin, you could just walk right over this. Come on, man.
It's great, but it's the principle of the thing. And I love the bows that they use, like the staffs. They just keep breaking. And then eventually it's just clink, ah, clink, ah. And then he hits
I'm drowning.
I can't swim.
And he's just like, what?
It's like, what's wrong with this guy?
Bless you, Robin.
You saved my life.
Now let me introduce you to my friend who is in the bushes with his knives.
What part of Georgia are you from? South Central?
I haven't figured that part out yet. So this is like the sad part about that scene is when you figure out how something's done, I just going to keep talking while you guys are losing your composure completely. This is why we got to video these things. But one of my least favorite things, there's bad lighting down here, is when you figure out how a trick is done in a movie.
Yeah.
So when he spins the knives, you can see that he has 2 rings on his fingers, and the knives are attached to it, and they spin on the ring. So like the knives are far away from his hands when he spins them, and like
I've never noticed that.
Oh, once you see it though, it's one of those things
You can't
just
unsee it.
You can't unsee it.
Like we watched an episode of Arrow where they use a rubber practice knife, and it's like a close-up shot, and it's like one that I own physically, and I was like, oh, this show about a superhero wearing green leather is really just not realistic. So strange.
Well, now that they know that they use the same one you have a green leather suit. You could go fight crime.
That is true.
Now here's a book-related mention for Melanie. You can also find her at Bibliophiles Assemble on Instagram. When Dirty Ezio sets up in for his sniper shot with the crossbow, because it's a sniper.
Yeah.
He's in what's the
the Texas Book Depository. That's supposed to be it's the I don't know what they call it in the movie, the Royal O Depository, like the
Royal Folio Depository. So that's where the books are.
That was
yeah, I was gonna read that, then my computer decided to change screens.
That's weird.
That's so weird. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I can't help it. This movie it brings me so much joy. I cannot be depressed watching this movie.
Oh, I agree. And even from the opening scene, I mean, I laugh at the jail cell with the maitre d'. It's like, welcome to the dungeon.
Oh, you got to put on your finest, and he puts on the wig and the beard.
He puts on the beard and Carrie Elwell's face doesn't. I mean, he's just like stone face. I mean, how he keeps a straight face during that, I don't know. And then they have the tongue loosener scene.
Oh my god!
I crack up every time because they pull the tongue. Well, first they do the where is your king? And he goes, King Richard, King Louis, King Kong, Larry King. And then they do the tongue loosener.
That's how old Larry King is.
Larry King died. So,
R.I.P. Yeah.
That's how old he was. All right. And on that note.
So they use the tongue loosener on Robin, and it's the famous, obviously fake tongue that gets pulled out of his,
That was a fake tongue?
That was a fake tongue. That was not Carrie Elwell's tongue.
That creeped me out as a kid.
But the tongue gets, shot back in, and he's like in pain. And then the guard says, something that's supposed to be Arabic. It's probably gibberish.
Probably super racist and insensitive at this point.
Carrie Elwell's just in like a muffled voice. Wouldn't he say? And the other guard's like, you don't want to know. He just pulls him away. I don't know what it was about that. I just laugh. I just laugh every time.
You know what gets me in that scene? When that was the sound of this poor man's heart breaking. Oh. That's how I react to
I always
everything.
loved how easy it was for them to break the
this is great news. And he keeps leaving and going.
Please go.
I can't afford any bad news.
Good news is always rewarded.
But bad news is severely punished.
Da.
It's amazing how we finally made it to the opening scene of this movie.
That's true.
This is very impressive for us. Thank you, everybody who's been with us for this journey thus far. And then, of course, after they escape, Robin travels by map.
He travels by map to row your boat. That was great. And then if you get and then this is where the Mel Brooks, just stupid humor, like with the Hollywood sign, but only it says it's England, stuff like that. I love
England.
that. And I love it. England's, the size of the Danbury Mall, as we quote in Eurotrip.
Yeah.
So you can just walk along Europe.
Okay, swim.
He just so happens to come across Achoo, and it took me.
Thank you.
I think it took me till I was probably like 20 years old to realize that was spoofing the Rodney King attack.
Yeah, they mentioned the camcorder
when he goes, "Hey, and I hope nobody's getting the video of this thing."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No idea, that was what that was spoofing when I was a kid, but and they fight the guards, and then
time out, bad guys.
I'm running out of air. I need to get pumped.
Yeah, between that and Austin Powers, those shoes must have really saw.
But then you get the shot that was on most of the VHSs and the DVDs was Robin with like the 10 arrows on the bow.
Who did it better, him or Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots Part 2? I know. Sean's gonna think about this for a second.
Carrie Elwes.
Yeah,
you think Carrie Elwes?
Yeah, nothing against Charlie Sheen, but I just think it worked better in Robin and Men in Tights.
One of the few examples, though, of a movie whose sequel I liked better.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think both those movies are good in their own right.
Yeah, I think what we talked about.
We did. That was our first episode.
Yep, first episode. If you want to go back through the.
And we even said it. We even said it on that first episode. We were like, no Mel Brooks movies on this episode, folks. He gets his own. I don't think we were thinking month at the time, but we were definitely thinking his own episode.
Yeah.
But 6 months later, here we are.
With a Mel month.
With the
Mel month. Also trying to get Melanie back into the podcast scene.
But that's right.
Because we want to do a Bibliophiles Assemble podcast at some point.
Yeah, we can do some sort of crossover.
Oh my God.
I mean, after reading As You Wish.
Well, at one point we are going to do a month, because I know we've talked about TV to movie.
We've been talking
an
about
episode.
that, yeah, for a while.
I would love to do a book to movie type
Absolutely.
episode. I'm a big fan of the Count of Monte Cristo.
I love the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that movie.
Henry Cavill's in the
Yeah,
Caviezel one.
yeah, which is funny because I think Caviezel for a long time was rumored to be Superman. That's always funny.
Yeah, he was.
He would have been a great Superman. I think.
Yeah,
I think he could have pulled it off.
Then he
could have. Yeah.
Then he played Jesus, and apparently he got struck by lightning in that.
Which
movie.
is Superman, really, when you think about it.
They're totally different. It's just symbolism. Okay.
So he got struck by lightning.
I honestly didn't mean for him to freak out there, but okay.
Sorry, I thought it was on Multiverse
course
Fan
he's
Class.
going to.
Just constantly defending.
It
my
wasn't
position.
a knock. I
Of
wasn't
course he's
knocking
gonna freak
Superman.
out. It's Superman.
But
I love the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree with that.
It's such a good movie.
Yes.
Great movie.
Lex Luthor's favorite book.
Fair, very true.
So yeah.
What did you think of the when they roll up on Loxley Hall and then just gets rolled away?
I love Carrie Always' reaction. Hands on the side of his head.
He's and he just starts holding on like he's gonna stop it. It's
once it's hooked, we gotta take it.
And this is, my mom still quotes this anytime they do their taxes. She's like, oh, we gotta get our taxes done. She goes, where are you going? I'm going. She's going to HMR Blockhead. She says that every year.
Again, one of those things that actually stands the test of time.
Stands the test of time because H&R Block's been around forever and it's still going strong. So of course it still works, but. And then we talked about Blinken's arrival. That was great.
You grew some nice boobs.
But you lost both your arms. Oh God.
You lost your arms in battle.
But you grew some nice boobs.
The one I do love the scene where the villagers, when they are talking to the villagers for the first time.
England,
and,
lend me your ears.
Boop.
And he starts quoting Winston Churchill.
And,
and again, as a kid, you have no idea
know
who Winston Churchill is. It's just funny that they're falling asleep to this guy.
Yep.
We will be better than my land.
And then Dave Chappelle comes along and he's doing Malcolm X. And again, no idea who Malcolm X is, but it's still funny.
Yep.
And he goes, Brother Achoo is right.
Yeah, at that age, we knew the letter X because we were still watching Sesame Street.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, at
Today's
that point,
episode
you
brought
didn't
to
know
you
that
by-
they were actually quoting anyone. I don't think I ever knew that.
No, that's the
until
thing.
I was older.
You knew
it was just, they're boring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he's fun.
Yeah.
Like, he's animated. This
And
is great.
It was probably not even. I'll be honest with you. It probably wasn't until I was in at least middle school, high school that I knew who Winston Churchill was. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. Or Malcolm X.
Famous guys.
So
very famous guys.
The when they grab their ears and throw it.
Lend me
That's
your ears.
disgusting.
Yeah.
One of the ears gets caught in his strap.
I saw that. I always noticed that.
I always looked at that.
And
It was terrible.
and I love at the end when he goes, "Are you with me? Yay or nay?" And he goes, "Which one means yes?"
Yay.
Yay.
It would have been funnier if we didn't see who actually said that.
That,
Just like
If it was just off camera.
that would have been good. That would have been good.
yes. That sort of thing. I
You
always
enjoy that.
I
You
love
always
that.
enjoy
It's always
off-camera.
funny. I always think,
You got any Kool-Aid?
I'm serious about that Kool-Aid.
There's the Kool-Aid.
Yo, that's racist, man. Off camera can be sometimes even funnier than on
could
camera.
be. It really can.
It always
really
gets
can.
me Avengers: Age of Ultron when Iron Man flies in and they're all shooting at him. He's like, guys, let's talk this out. And then he knocks them all out. Good talk. And you just hear somebody go, no, it wasn't. It's just, I can't. It always gets me. I can't help myself. Oh, God.
You lose it. You lose it every time.
But the one scene that I laugh at constantly is when they're doing the little montage of all the villagers, starting to train.
That doesn't look so hard.
And they're doing the cameras panning along, and the one guy pulls back and it breaks. One guy, the arrow goes backwards, and then you got the one guy at the end. He just pulls it and he goes, and he just holds it, and he's like, "Where is it?" And it's like, what's going on here?
And then Carrie always just looks at the camera.
Looks at the camera, and he sells it. It is perfect. That is probably both mine and my dad's favorite scene in the entire movie because we just crack up.
Maybe we should send the dummies into battle. Huh.
Apparently, there's a deleted scene of that where they actually bring the dummies into battle.
That's hilarious, and I love it.
That's
And
up there
why?
with the end of Blazing Saddles where Mel Brooks as the mayor goes into the fake town and starts talking to the dummies.
We missed a character.
Rabbi Tuckman.
No.
What did we miss?
What's her Marion's maid?
Oh,
Broomhilda. Yes.
Farfanugan.
Yeah. See, that's where we were. That's where we were for that.
I love it when the horse goes with the subtitles. Is she crazy?
If I were you, I would not do that again.
Funny thing is,
do that
I never noticed the crack in the ground after she gets up.
You never noticed that?
Not so years ago, but at first I never noticed that.
All right, so before we get too much into her, because I do want to. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that scene after this, but let's talk about Rabbi Tuckman because he's only in the movie for 2 scenes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That scene and then the end. But of course, that's Mel Brooks' spoof on Friar Tuck, which is,
which is funny.
It's perfect for him because it just makes so much sense.
Oh God, it's so good.
And
wait a minute, we got things here. There's birds. There's trees.
There's squirrels. Let's drink until we get verschnicket.
We'll bless them all until we get verschnicken. Come on.
Oh, but you know which one gets me? You know which one gets me? The whole. I didn't get this as a kid. Where he goes, I knew her parents before the war or something. It was like Lord and Lady Bigel.
Oh yeah, Loxley and Bigel.
Loxley and Bigel, can't miss. And I was just like, oh, Lox and Bagel, I got it. Okay.
And I just got that.
That took
Welcome
me a while.
to 2021, everyone.
Loxley and Bigel.
Can't miss.
Wow.
I just was like, oh, okay. I got that's funny now.
No, now it is
really
funny.
Now it's really funny.
Now it's
Hope
really
she's still
funny.
wearing her iron underwear. But after
it has the Everlast on it. I was like
but ironically, right after they meet Rabbi Tuckman, we get arguably the most well-known scene and musical number, the famous Men in Tights song.
How much seems?
Flawless. As
every
always.
time.
Oh, every time, that's right.
Every time.
And it is one of my favorite bits is when Blinken keeps messing up.
Well, he's not messing up.
No,
he's doing the whole thing.
He's there.
He punches, Will
Little
Scarlet.
John.
Will Scarlet, and he's leaning.
Doesn't he
he's
punch
leaning,
Little John too?
Yeah, he does punch Little John, and then he's leaning back against them because he's falling. Yeah. He's trying not to fall over. And they're the choreo. I mean, it's not the greatest choreography in the world, but just to fit him in, it's like, okay, you're gonna again, you're blind, so we got to make it look like you actually can see what you're doing. And then when they do, obviously the kick line, it's
the kick line is brilliant. No,
that fits perfectly.
The choreography is simple and it's fantastic. It's exactly what I would expect from a Mel Brooks movie with choreography, and just a simple little box step and a little kick line and. But Lincoln punching everyone in the face is probably the single most funniest.
Some
moment.
of them do duck.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mel Brooks is a true fan of Broadway. I mean,
he
is.
You can tell.
And in every, almost every movie, not every movie, but almost every movie, there's a nod to Broadway.
There's some sort of,
musical number, nice little dance number, something. And so.
Well, the Inquisition, that whole scene in History of the World Part 1.
Young Frankenstein with Putting on the Ritz.
Yeah.
High Anxiety with High Anxiety. So I mean, he'll always try and incorporate a song or something into one of his movies. Spaceballs, not so much, but you have the Looney Tunes spoof at the end with Alien, which is funny.
Oh yeah.
But and then obviously this. So I mean, he does a good. I will say this: I was bummed when I got older and when I saw History of the World Part 1, and then the end when they show Jews in space. It's the same. It's the same music. Yeah. So that was annoying at first, but it didn't matter after that. I was just like, oh, okay.
No,
which movie came out first?
History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So
History of the World
do
Part
you
1
think
was
that
early
was kind
80s.
of like a setup for Spaceballs?
Yeah, he probably just used the same.
No, it was just him just being.
Just recycling.
Just recycling. Pretty
Maybe
much.
it was more cost effective to do so.
Yeah, no,
it definitely was. But
he probably also was like, not many people probably remember that part of the movie.
No. Well, History of the World Part 1 wasn't his most successful movie.
It wasn't. It wasn't as popular.
Yeah, but then we get Broomhilda and Marion arriving to the camp. But first, we did get the Lincoln. What are you doing up there? Guessing.
I guess no one's coming.
The whole scene just
Please
just
get
perfect.
down from there.
It's just perfect physical comedy.
Twit. And then he goes I think there's a ladder around here.
He finds it. And he keeps turning and grabbing it, turning and grabbing it. Then he knocks it over.
Then he knocks it over. He goes, oh crap! And he just falls.
I can save.
Nope.
Runs into the most rubber tree in the forest. I was wrong. Still, just physical comedy just always gets
And
me.
we also get the Godfather spoof with Don Giovanni with
the
One
balls.
of my least favorite scenes in the movie. It's very out
it's
of place.
It's grown on me.
Oh yeah, being like watching The Godfather.
Well,
and
and
all
not just that, but just what they say sometimes. It's like, I know it's been a long journey from New Jersey. Well,
Yeah.
it's a long drive. Like,
Oh, I just came from the
And then he's
dentist.
got the cotton balls in his mouth.
Yeah.
And the guy next to him is doing, like, I will take these cotton balls from you and hold them in my pocket.
I'm not sure. I think the fake lizard actually lived on that fake tree that Lincoln ran into.
Say that.
'Cause,
I-
woof.
that was like, it's like that. Is that? Are you even trying?
Yeah. It could have been a contender.
Could have been contended, Charlie.
Yep. But and that's when Broomhilda, there's a foul plot afoot. It's not mine feet. I just washed them. Yeah. I'm gonna start using that around the house.
I just washed them.
I just washed them.
Please wash your feet.
I do wash my feet.
Okay, good.
Get out of here. Baby, not in front of Sean.
Not in front of the world.
All 12 people that,
A million people.
12 million people listening to Cinematic Adventures right
So
now.
anyway,
But
back to it.
and that's why they go to the camp to warn him. And I love the scene. An archery contest.
Archery contest.
Part of his beard
and
comes
part
up.
of
He's
his
just
beard.
like,
And then she's like,
flicks it on.
please say you won't go. And he goes,
all right,
you won't go.
I promise,
promise
you won't go. And she's like, oh, okay.
And then Achoo's like, Robin, didn't you cool it?
Kool-Aid.
Chilled. Yeah. And of course, Little John helps Broomhilda off the horse,
Yeah.
and she falls on
Little
it.
John, I panicked.
I use that.
Uh-huh.
I use that
Is
often.
there anything I can do
Do
for you?
Yeah, you can get off me. Little John, I panicked. Oh, no ding ding without the wedding ring.
And
Yeah.
he says goodbye in all the different languages.
Ciao.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ding dong
Ciao.
day.
Ding dong day.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you. I don't know what happened, but it's still funny.
And then
I
you
don't know if those are all accurate, but if they are,
So most of them, Auf Wiedersehen
Auf
is.
Wiedersehen.
Ciao.
Ciao is. Ching Tao Te, I don't know if that is.
No, I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know. But
Either way, I'm impressed.
The archery contest is always hilarious because that's a very common Robin Hood story.
Oh,
trope.
that's
that's-
the
yeah.
original
Yep.
Errol Flynn one, the Disney, with
Yep,
Robin Hood
that's a
showing
big-
up dressed up in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it all
Are you
depends.
Part of the
sure?
story.
Looks
No.
like Mark Twain.
Wait, I lost. I'm supposed to lose. Where's the script?
That
Yes,
is pure Mel
yes,
Brooks
he
right
does.
there.
Oh,
I
it's,
love
it's
that.
perfect, and they all pull
They
out
all
their
have the
copy.
script under
Yeah.
them, and just he does.
Oh, you know what one of my best visual gags is when they have the trumpets and they turn and they blow them right in
In his
his
ears.
ears. They're
He's
just
like,
like, oh.
Oh, we didn't talk
Prince
about
John.
the bubble, the bath. It's like, you guys can blow, not blow, blow.
I've never used that phrase for somebody to leave. I've never been like, hey man, you can blow. I feel like if I said that to you, you'd be
No.
like, I'm uncomfortable. And why?
I don't think he would ever ask why. I think Sean would just leave. I don't.
I
see
made
that
sure
being
to
a
use Sean as the
conversation.
example.
Thank you.
Because I don't want to know how this interaction would go with my wife.
I don't. Excuse me.
I'm gonna just blow
You you stepped into that one.
Some bubbles.
some bubbles.
Have fun.
Have fun. I'm gonna go have fun. But anyway,
Well, his not Little John, Prince John. Yes.
yes,
His mole moves in the movie.
just like Igor's hump. In,
Igor.
Yeah, Igor.
Sorry, I was just. That really wasn't knocked at you. That was more just me.
Frankenstein.
There you go.
Thank
There you go.
you.
There it is.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, the mole is an obvious, harken back to the hump from Young Frankenstein. I have a mole.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I love it. His reaction, it's almost like he's really surprised.
Well,
That's
Marty Feldman
fantastic.
does the same thing in Young Frankenstein. What hump?
Yeah.
What hump?
Yeah.
But I love
rolling the hay.
I love the Patriot arrow when for his last shot. His Patriot
Yeah.
arrow, and it just goes all over.
Let's give him the chop.
bad '90s visual where the arrow's just pay the chop.
Oh, God.
Can't do that anymore. And
No.
they
No,
they
it's
banned that
not.
from Atlanta Braves used to do that. The Florida State used to do that. I think Kansas City Chiefs used to do that too, but they won't. They
But a
won't.
lot
They
of
won't
sports
allow.
teams have changed their
Oh yeah, no,
names
definitely.
or have thought about changing their names within recent years.
Anywho's, yeah, but he gets a second shot,
He does get the
does.
second shot.
and then he's arrested immediately. And
Yep.
But then
And
Maid
then a
Marian's
fight
like,
ensues.
I love Maid Mary. She's like, I'll do the most disgusting thing I
I
could
can think
possibly
of.
imagine. And they're all like, hey.
I shall
I shall
marry you.
marry you.
See, as an adult, this cracked me up. As a kid, I didn't notice it. But she's like, but you will never have, you may have my body, but you will never have my soul,
My heart, my mind, or
mind.
my soul.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Then he goes, I can
Yeah.
respect that.
Oh, yeah, I can respect that.
But I always loved him going like, you'll be mine after dinner and sometimes after lunch. And then, of course, you get the typical Mel Brooks, walk this way. And they all start doing
The walk.
the walk and all that.
Yeah.
And then we get our how are we going to get the villagers? They're not ready to fight. Why don't we fox them? Fox them?
Now, Mickey.
12th century fox. Love it.
Now, Mickey, go straight to the villagers. And he's got the dolphin sound effects.
Come on, let's get out of these women's clothes and get into our tights.
You can't make that. This movie's so funny.
It
I
really
can't.
is.
Brilliant.
And then, of course, we get the big villagers coming.
We get the hangman from Blazing Saddles returns.
Oh, are you about a 7 or an 8.5?
And then you get the abbot with the
Hey, I'm back.
hey abbot. I hate that guy. Oh, and the I'm gonna perform this in the new Pig Latin.
Yeah, and the new Latin.
The new
Oy
Latin.
yay.
Amen.
Mervyn the sheriff.
Yeah.
Mervyn.
Mervyn?
Your name is Mervyn?
I'll just start laughing. Oh, you can't make it up. And he's gonna deflower her in the tower.
Oh.
Oh, hope she's still
Still
wearing
wearing
her
iron underwear. A chastity belt.
It's going to chafe my witty.
It's got the
Oh,
jackhammer.
man. What is it plugged into?
Nothing.
Exactly. I like his faces though that he makes during. He's like,
Does it? And his face
And then
is so
Robin breaks in and she's like talking.
Robin. Oh man,
Oh, this is great.
the giggliest episode we've ever done. This is rough.
This
My
is only
face
week
hurt.
one, man.
My face hurt.
We're
This is
gonna be doing
great.
this all month.
Oh man.
And then
And
they
sometimes
have the shadow.
after lunch.
That's true.
They have the shadow puppet fight.
Shadow puppet.
I do
The
like
dog and the duck.
prepare for the fight scene.
for the fight scene.
Hits the wall. Shocking. Oh god, all the puns.
Carrie Elwes was perfect. I mean, he really
really
was perfect
was.
for the Robin Hood role. I thought all the actors
They
were
all
great.
nailed
They
it.
really were
great.
all well done.
They had great chemistry, all of them.
The you get the you get the where they're sword fighting and he like lunges and he steps the bagel from the crew member.
Yep.
Hey. Oh, sorry.
I like the when he catches it. Ha ha. Switch aside. Ha ha. And he punches him in the face.
And he goes, oh.
Yeah. Very similar. Like
To Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh
You,
god.
again, I mean, I love Mel Brooks to death. He's not, he's not Spielberg. He's not, an amazing, but he'll recycle a lot of stuff. But you have to really be a fan of his to notice it.
Yeah. He was like he's like the better earlier version of Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
He's
But,
got a
I
very
mean-
specific niche.
he, it's not. What's the word? I mean, it's recycling the joke, but he sometimes, most of the time he'll come up with a new twist to it. So you'll notice it, but you'll be like, okay, but I liked what you added to it to keep it going. So I mean, like the Spaceballs fight is very similar. They kill a crew member of the crew, and this one he just stabs the bagel and all that stuff. But and then he defeats Mervyn by stabbing him through.
It was a very weird time for him to be like, my fight's over, I think. Thank you, old friend. Yeah, it was just a weird
just
time
like-
for him.
Yeah. Ugh.
like,
It's not even that bad.
And then latrine pops.
I was wrong.
wrong.
Yep, and then
Latrine's
Latrine.
like, oh,
saves him
my
with a lifesaver.
Porsche.
I changed
That
my
took
mind.
That took me a while to figure out that was actual a life, like the candy.
The candy,
Yes.
she
yeah.
gave him. She's like,
That was like the peppermint.
I'll give you
lifesaver.
it, but you have to promise to marry me. He goes, all right.
I mean, divorce was a common thing back then. Like,
And he was like, how do you feel? It's like, good, surprisingly good, but really depressed.
yeah. And then no ding ding. Oh no, what is it?
No.
Yeah, before you do it, you must go through it.
Or else I blew it.
Yes.
And then of course he goes, Rabbi,
Woo!
Rabbi, we wish to be married in a hurry.
Married in a hurry.
then
That's
you hear-
wonderful. Wait.
And then you hear the
Shink. Put a little ice on it.
It'll be fine. Ay, ay, ay.
That's why he's got to work with a younger crowd. But yes, so they get married. But first, King Richard.
King Richard returns.
Back from the Crusades.
And then we get
Oh, I'm in trouble now.
Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Who's obviously spoofing the Sean Connery cameo from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So.
And that's why he's speaking with a Scottish accent.
Scottish. So.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great. It's good to be the king.
And then you get every toilet in the kingdom will now be referred to as John's.
It's better than Latrine's maiden name, which we can't say on the podcast.
Oh, we can't.
No,
That's
we can't.
right.
No, we can't. But it's wonderful.
It's lovely. It looks like a Seder at Vincent Price's house. I always love that line.
I'm just your cook. Yeah.
You want certain? Hire yourself a fortune teller. I'm just your cook.
But so they get married, and of course, the key. It is the perfect size.
Well, we get the King Richard, giving away Maid Marian, but has to give her a kiss first.
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah. So they get married, and Blinken is named the new sheriff.
Achoo.
And Achoo is also
A
named
black sheriff?
He's
Yes,
black.
He's black?
Yeah.
Why not?
It
Worked in Blazing Saddles?
So good. And then they almost get to do it.
Almost.
Yeah.
The key doesn't. The key.
But they
It
have to
fits,
call
but it won't.
a
Call a
locksmith.
locksmith.
But I love her reaction. She goes, "What?" She's so.
She's so ready.
Oh,
She
I
is
bet she
just-
was.
It's
She
like, the key
is.
doesn't turn. We'll call a locksmith. Call a locksmith. Call a locksmith. And then we get the finale to the Sherwood rap.
Yes. Oh, I can't go wrong with the Sherwood rap.
With Bobby Brown.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
He's
And
in
that-
group.
that-
That is Robin and Men in Tights. Now, for all you who are like, we wanted the plot. Okay, well, you know
Well,
what?
we
Well,
kind
they
of
kinda gave
diverted
you the
into
plot.
it. Yeah.
But we just basically, gave you every joke in the movie. So you're welcome.
But if
Spoiler
you know
alert.
the story of Robin Hood, it's basically the movie.
Oh,
It's a
absolutely.
lot more
Yeah.
fun.
It's basically the Prince of Thieves with a little bit of the Errol Flynn mixed in, but
And a whole lot of Carrie Elways.
a lot of Carrie Elways.
I'm okay with that.
He was on SVU.
He
Yeah.
was, yeah.
What are the odds that
And
the
Hot Shots. We forget he was
Oh,
in the first
yeah.
Hot Shots.
Yeah. He plays who's
He's
he
like
spoofing?
he's the Val Kilmer. He's spoofing
Yeah,
Val
yeah.
Kilmer, which when you think about it is kind of funny, but
Because Val Kilmer's spoofing himself at this point. Too soon? Not
mm,
enough? I don't know. Where should I? Am I
he's
line crossed?
dealing with a lot of stuff, so it's
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. Apparently, Brendan Fraser was trending on Twitter
Yeah, I don't know
just
why.
out of nowhere.
Out
But
of
just because
nowhere.
people like him.
Huh? I always feel bad. He kind of just fell off the face of the
Well,
earth.
you read his story. It's heartbreaking.
It's
Oh,
a very
really?
tough
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. But I think that's
I'm
good.
gonna go home and watch The Mummy.
You should watch Bedazzled.
George
That-
of the Jungle. I was never a
Good one.
Bedazzled fan.
Melanie has already asked if she can be on Guilty Pleasure Movie.
No, absolutely.
And
I mean,
that
I have
is-
a few
Melanie doesn't
guilty
have to ask
pleasures.
permission to be on any episode.
Of
like,
course I do. This isn't my
No, you
thing. I'm
don't.
just a guest.
mm,
This is your jam, guys. I'm just the
this
PB.
is my jam.
Just the peanut butter.
So how?
Red raspberry jam.
So I think
No,
we're
not
just-
raspberry.
I love red raspberry jam.
All right, we'll give it to Sean.
All right. So that about wraps us up for
So,
tonight.
Paul, how can people get in touch with us?
Well,
You always like to.
preferably not physically. I'm very uncomfortable with something like that.
Virtually, how
You
people
like it?
in
It's worse now.
In 2021, how can people get in touch?
So the easiest way is through our Facebook. You can find us at Cinematic Adventures or the Misfit Faction. Both Facebook pages are constantly updated with all of our most recent episodes and fun memes and just fun things. You can also find our website, themisfitfaction.com. You can find our YouTube and Instagram link there as well. Speaking of Instagram, Melanie, tell us a little bit about yours real quick.
You should check out Bibliophiles Assemble on Instagram, where you can find some really awesome book reviews, book postings, and just all around book fun. So
And
be
so-
sure to
yeah.
check it out.
And some life lessons along the way.
And some life lessons and some really cool memes as well.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then obviously, like Sean said at the beginning, you can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. The more you guys listen, the more you guys subscribe and comment and rate, the more we can put out episodes and the higher up in the list we go. So if you guys like what we're doing, let us know.
Also, be
yeah,
sure.
go for
Sorry,
it.
Sean.
No, go
we
for it.
really have to work this out. But also, on our website at misfitfaction.com, there is a section where you can comment or throw in some suggestions that you would like to see or hear about. So make sure you fill that out too, and we will get them. And whether it's on Cinematic Adventures or on Bibliophiles Assemble on Instagram or the Multiverse Fancast,
That one's perfect.
we can.
Is it?
All of them are really perfect.
That's true. In their own way.
In their own way.
Practically perfect in every way.
And perfectly imperfect.
Thank you, Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins.
Well,
2.0.
I think it's time for us to blow. Not blow.
Blow. So I think that's going to wrap us up, as always.
As always, you're Paul.
You're Sean. And that's Melanie.
That's Melanie.
And I'm Melanie.
Say goodbye, Sean.
Ciao, everybody.
Adios.